pair that checked into a luxury hotel room and felt an inexplicable tension in the air, as if the silence itself was watching you, as if someone had arrived before you and never truly left. Imagine polished marble floors, velvet drapes, and the quiet promise of rest. Yet beneath that elegance lies something restless, something unseen. Welcome to Unseen Occupants, where tonight we investigate true hotel horror stories from the most haunted suites in the world, places designed for comfort that instead became stages for fear. Before we begin, ask yourself this: if a room has witnessed tragedy, despair, or something unexplained, does time really erase it? Or does it simply dress it up and rent it out again? If you're new here, this channel explores documented mysteries, true horror accounts, and investigations into the unexplained with respect, research, and atmosphere. So if you're drawn to stories that linger long after the screen goes dark, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications, so you never miss what hides in the shadows. Hotels are unique environments. Thousands of strangers pass through the same confined spaces, sleeping, dreaming, arguing, celebrating, and sometimes dying within identical walls. And unlike homes, these rooms rarely rest, rarely sit empty long enough to forget. Paranormal researchers often theorize that this constant emotional turnover creates ideal conditions for residual energy, especially in suites tied to intense events. And while many dismiss this as coincidence or suggestion, certain rooms develop reputations so persistent that even skeptics hesitate before staying the night. Across the globe, there are luxury accommodations known not for their service, but for whispers of footsteps in locked rooms, mirrors that reflect movement, where no one stands, phones that ring from disconnected lines, and guests who check out early without explanation. Staff members, trained to remain discreet, often know exactly which rooms to avoid, which suites are requested less frequently, and which lights turn on by themselves long after housekeeping has finished. In this investigation, we are not chasing urban legends or exaggerated folklore. We are examining real locations, documented incidents, first-hand accounts, and unanswered questions that continue to shadow these hotels long after the lobby doors close. As the night deepens, remember, these hotels are temporary for the living, but perhaps not for everyone. Among the most infamous hotel locations in the world stands the Cecil Hotel in Los Angeles, a place whose elegant Art Deco exterior hides a deeply unsettling history. And while many rooms there have stories attached to them, Room 506 remains one of the most discussed due to its proximity to the mysterious 2013 disappearance of Eliza Lamb, a case that officially remains unresolved despite extensive investigation. Guests who stayed in nearby rooms reported erratic water pressure changes, unexplained door movements, and a pervasive sense of being watched, while staff later described elevators behaving unpredictably, long before the incident became public knowledge. What unsettles investigators is not just the tragedy itself, but the lingering reports that followed: security guards hearing footsteps in empty hallway, guests claiming to hear soft crying through walls late at night, and maintenance workers refusing to service certain floors alone. Moving from urban decay to mountain isolation, the Stanley Hotel in Colorado presents a starkly different atmosphere, yet one equally charged, particularly in room 217, a suite forever linked to reports of poltergeist activity and famously associated with the inspiration behind The Shining. Guests have described luggage unpacked without explanation, lights flicking on and off, and children's laughter echoing through corridors long after midnight. While skeptics argue that expectation shapes experience, but records show reports long before the hotel embraced its haunted reputation. Then there is the Crescent Hotel in Arkansas, a sprawling structure once used as a hospital, where certain suites are said to retain echoes of suffering, with guests waking to find handprints on mirrors, beds vibrating gently as if someone were sitting down, and voices murmuring names that don't belong to anyone registered. What connects these rooms is not just history, but consistency reports from people with no connection to one another, spread across decades, describing remarkably similar phenomena. These suites are often renovated, repainted, renamed, yet something persists, as though the architecture itself remembers. And whether one believes in spirits, psychological imprinting, or environmental factors, the pattern remains disturbingly difficult to dismiss. Hotels may offer room service and fresh linens, but some rooms appear unwilling to be empty, holding onto what once occupied them with quiet determination. For those who experience unexplained activity firsthand, the impact rarely ends at checkout, as guests and staff alike report lingering effects, recurring dreams of the same room, sudden anxiety in quiet spaces, or an unshakable sense of being followed long after returning home. Former hotel employees have spoken anonymously about hearing their names whispered during night shifts, witnessing doors unlock themselves, or feeling sudden drops in temperature that vanished the moment they left certain suites. And while management often avoids public acknowledgement, internal logs sometimes reveal repeated incidents tied to the same rooms. Psychologists suggest that unfamiliar environments combined with stress and suggestion can heighten perception. Yet this explanation struggles when applied to staff members who experience activity repeatedly over years, or to guests who had no prior knowledge of a room's reputation. Interestingly, some hotels now lean into these stories, offering guided tours, themed stays, and curated narratives that blur the line between history and horror tourism. Raising an unsettling question: are these locations embracing their past, or capitalizing on something they cannot control? As we prepare to check out, consider what we've uncovered. Luxury does not guarantee safety. Silence does not mean emptiness, and some rooms may remember more than they reveal. These stories endure because they resist easy explanations, because too many people walked away shaken, confused, and changed. So the next time you book a hotel, you might check reviews for cleanliness and comfort. But perhaps you should also read between the lines, listening for what guests hesitate to say. Are there rooms no one requests? Floors staff avoid after dark? Or stories dismissed as imagination until they repeat themselves? If these investigations intrigue you, if you believe that some mysteries deserve careful attention rather than ridicule, Make sure to subscribe, because our next case takes us deeper into places the living pass through but never fully leave. Until then, sleep well, travel carefully, and remember, not every occupant checks out.